Yay! Here we are.
Wonderful,
My
yeah.
goodness.
It's
My
taken a
goodness.
while.
Leone, it's been amazing to finally be able to connect, because I know we've both been traveling and settling, and so amazing that this is the perfect divine opportunity to finally have this conversation, which I feel we've been having many conversations in the ethers. I kind of feel like we're always very connected, but it's so wonderful to be able to have you and
Thank you.
ask a little bit more about the wisdom that is coming through you. So just to let everybody know that will listen to this video later, Leone is an amazing being, extraordinary being on planet Earth at this time. She is the Cosmic Scribe. She is bringing information from the ethers, from the sky, from the stars. And I will let her explain to you a little bit more about it. Please, Leone, tell us more about this amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Anouk. It's such a joy for me to be here, and I'll never forget the way we connected. And, you know, it's one of those connections that you just know in your spirit that it's predestined and ordained, and it's a reconnection. So it's lovely to be here. I've got full body goosies. That's always my body's way of telling me things are spot on. So yeah, thank you for this opportunity to be with you and to share the wonderful things that we're co-creating. So I don't know if you want me to just jump in and tell you about my scribing journey. Can I do that?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
because I know it, but not everybody does.
Yes,
absolutely.
Right. Okay, so the codes that I bring in, I describe them as sacred geometry, and there are also glyphs. So the glyphs refer to the type of writing, if you will. So they are basically 3D reflections of light language. Now, I was given light language as a spoken tongue many, many years ago, in the 80s, I think 88 or something like that. And I used it, I didn't know what it was, and when I started talking it and expressing it, it felt quite strange to me. But with daily use, it developed into something that I really felt in my spirit, and what I used for my daily meditations. If I felt a call from somebody who needed some support in any way, I would sing or speak in light language. So light language wasn't foreign to me when I had my mind-blowing experience in 2017. So that was in about June or July, I can't remember exactly, but I was going through a personal experience of wanting to look for, sorry, my battery is now packing up. I'm sorry. Give me a sec.
Problem.
I've got to grab my charger. But what I decided to do, because I'm a shamanic healer as well, I decided to go on a shamanic journey for myself to try and find answers to my own personal questions. And when I do shamanic journeys, I have a very set intention. I know exactly what it is that I'm going to be looking for. I call in my allies and my guides and my guardians to help me to find those answers. So that is what I did when I went on this journey. And I was immediately met by 13 beings of light. And they were quite amazing. I knew that I had to go to the upper realms, because in shamanic journeys you can go into the underworld, or the middle world, or the upper world. So I went into the upper world that day, and these beings presented themselves to me in the most beautiful way. I could see that they were light beings, and they glowed and shimmered with a kind of iridescent, pale diamond blue gold light. But they were wearing robes with hoods on, And I realized that it was to help me to be able to connect with them in human shape. So anyway, I was like, okay, who are you and what are we doing? And the next minute I saw shapes in my vision, and with my eyes closed, because when I do the shamanic journey, I'm obviously in a theta state. You like go into almost a trance state, but not quite. Sorry for the background noise. I hear they're making coffee and all sorts of things.
Yeah, just to tell everybody that you are now in Portugal, right?
Yes, yes. I'm in
You've been
Portugal.
traveling for 9 months, and I am in Greece, and Leone is in Portugal, and so we're just seizing the moment, really.
Yes.
So yes, please continue.
I've had to learn a lesson that I'm able to do my sacred service in any situation, in any place. So we roll with it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm hoping that you can hear me well. Anyway, so I saw these images, and with my eyes closed, I just drew them very quickly on the desk pad next to me and continued with the journey. And I said to them, well, what must I do with this? What is this? And they said to me, you just need to meditate on it. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. And I continued in the journey with them and had the most incredible experience. We were like playing and having fun, and they were showing me the power of our being as spirit. You know, that, for instance, if you imagine those crazy kung fu movies, or the Eastern movies where they run and go up the side of the wall and do double flips, and they were teaching me to do that. So I had this wonderful fun time with them. And then at the end of the journey, they formed a circle around me, and I was in the middle. And then I saw that there were only 12 of them. And they said, yes, the 13th one is a future you. So it was really quite a mind-blowing experience for me. Anyway, I disconnected, and then I looked at the images that I'd seen and that I'd drawn, and I was like, okay, I'll meditate on them, which I did. And then 2 days later, 2 or 3 days later, I undertook a second journey, connected with them again, and received another 3 images. And again, I asked, what must I do with this? And they said, just meditate on it. So that's what I did. About 3 weeks later, I was reading something online, and I realized that every image that they had given me represented, in the correct order that I received them, was a reflection of what this article was about. And that kind of like, it turned on an ignition key for me. It opened me up to understanding what the codes were about. And then I realized that I need to start scribing, as I call it, which is what I did. Maybe what I should do is share my screen. I've made a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation, and then I can show you what my first images were like. So this is where it started, and these are what the images look like. The triangle, the other one that looks like lightning, and then the other like DNA, and then the second 3 symbols were these ones. Can you see those?
Yes, yes, yes. Amazing. I can see the similarity to Egyptian glyphs.
I was like, wow, what do these mean? And then I was given keywords to what those were all about. Oops, sorry, I need to escape now and stop the share. There we go. So my work then continued. As I received the images, and usually what happens is that I receive them in dream time. And when I wake up in the morning, I will render the image on paper, draw it out or write it out or whatever. So in the beginning, my work was very sort of primitive, but I just allowed it to flow. And it was a process of trusting myself and trusting Spirit. And it developed about 2 months after I started. I received the code that really was a key for me to start doing sacred geometry. And in this whole process, as it developed, I'm now into my 3rd year of working with the codes. They are now very, very much precise sacred geometric things with glyphs in. And it's every time I render a code, I'm just blown away. It's still so magical to me, and I'm so humbled to be able to do the work and bring the gift in. I was shown soon after this. I had a project that was birthed, which you are part of. That's my Royal Iron project. And then there's been a lot of other earth healing work that I've done. So yeah, I'm going to go back to that, to the PowerPoint, and just go through it and talk through it, if that's good with you.
Yes, please do.
Right, so now I need to figure out how to get a slideshow going. Right, so this is one of the earliest ones. You can see my timestamp at the bottom. I used to, in those days, do everything written. And then I got really fancy and realized that I could scan things in and use smart script and put the date and timestamp on. So what I was told is that every single detail of the writing, of the geometry, every dot, every jot, every line, even the date, which I use a format of 17 is the year, 09 is the month, and 21 is the day, and then
Okay.
0747 is the time. So I started with that right from day one and was told that there is code in that as well. And this is what I love so much about light language, is that everything is encoded with what I call these cosmic codes, these codes of creation. They're in everything. They're in our bodies, in our DNA. They're in the trees, in the flowers, in rocks, in everything. And as we grow in our path and our consciousness awakens, we start to see and understand and receive and connect with them more deeply. So this was one that I did also in 2017, the 9th month, 29, and this was the ignition key for me. I saw this code exactly as I've rendered it here in my sleep, and when I was drawing it out on paper, something happened within me and I could feel a change. There was like a change within the way that I understood the codes and how I worked with them. So let's stop the share there. Yeah, so
Amazing.
Thank you. It's been an incredible journey for me. And as I say, I'm just always really blown away by it. Then I started asking, so why am I doing this? What is it for? And it was like, there are many ways that I can apply the codes, and it can assist people with their own personal growth. It can assist with challenges that somebody may have. For instance, if they have a problem at work, I can do a transmutational code for them, which will help them, give them whatever they need to be able to work through that. And then I started getting a sense of having to make a code for geographical places. One of the first that came up for me was Venezuela. And I was like, wow, I know nothing about Venezuela, but I'm feeling it. We're all connected. We live on that web of life. And everything that we touch affects that web and brings a vibration that is felt across the earth and with everyone on. So I rendered a code for Venezuela, and I was using crystals. I was guided to put crystals onto that as well. And so it developed. And then I got the Royal Lyran Project and other earth healing initiatives, which I'm busy with. Yeah. I don't know if there's any questions you have so far. Anything?
Oh,
you'd like?
so many. So many questions. Yes. So just to give a little bit more background as to how we got connected. It was so much about the coordinates that I don't know how we actually met, but I know that the first communication that we had was about the Lyrans, and it was about the Nilotic meridian.
Yes.
So this is the meridian that connects Giza, the pyramids, all the way through pretty much the journey of the River Nile, and then beyond all the way to South Africa, right?
Exactly.
And it touched through Timbavati, where the white lions are, and we were both receiving so much information from the lions and about Africa and what was to come and what still is to come.
Yes.
So that was, and then I realized that I was being told about the coordinates and how it was important to align to the coordinates on Earth, so literally locations on Earth. And you were doing that, as you were saying, you connected first with Venezuela, but then you were working with different locations. And as we journey through this, especially this year 2020, we are realizing that points on the planet are holding, let's call it holding, so much information for humanity at this time. And one of the places that I feel that we both resonate with, and I'm sure so many people are resonating, is Uluru in Australia. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm sure lots of people are resonating with that this year.
Absolutely. I think it's probably coming into the field of many, many people. For me, I have the strongest sense that what is going to be taking place in Uluru on the 21st of December is crucial for not only individuals, but for the planet, for Mother Earth to also enjoy her ascension and expansion. One of the projects that I'm busy with at the moment, which was birthed because of what's going on in Uluru, is the Clarion Hall, what I've named the Clarion Hall. So I was told that I need to bring in codes on the double-digit days between the 8th of the 8th to the one in December, so that by the time Uluru comes around on the 21st, that we have 5 codes with the double-digit months that we can focus on and bring in that extra support for the planet and for all mankind to raise the vibration. There is a very interesting post. I do have it on my MeWe profile about what is referred to as the magic box. And they speak of the beautiful crystals that have been planted in Ayers Rock, which is Uluru, and how these will be activated, but only if there are enough people in the world who have raised their vibration, sending their love and their energy and their consciousness to that area. And there are obviously other geographical places that are connected to this. Just to step back a little bit, in the Royal Lyran Project, that has been for me about identifying trines. Originally, they always came through as trines. So I would in my mind's eye and in dream time, usually again, I would see a connection between geographical points on the earth, and I would create and build and hold that trine, and then a code would come in support of the trine. And with time, it was just, it was mind-blowing for me in the beginning. I couldn't, I was like, wow, where does all this come from? but of course we are the God spark. We are the reflection of the Creator. So all of that information is within us as we allow it to come out. And with time, I'm now on my 14th trine for that, and it basically has a lattice work around the globe. And more recently, the trines have now started including off-planet and in-planet locations as well. So some of the trines are connecting, for instance, Giza with Mintauka, which is in Orion's belt, and another point on the Earth. And the most recent trine is all in the etheric. It's connecting points in the etheric. So with this connection to Uluru was actually one of the points in the very, very first trine that I brought in. And it was, again, the serendipities of connecting with people to Australians. And the trine that I saw was Uluru, Mount Kilimanjaro, which is in Tanzania, okay, on the Nile Meridian, and the Brandberg area in Namibia. So, whoops, lost my earphone. So the people that I immediately connected with were connected to those places. Ben is very much connected to Mount Kilimanjaro, and Lauren is connected to Uluru. So what we did in the beginning when they joined, we would form that trine in our bodies as well. So we would be the geographical points of those trines, and then build the energy and send the codes into the land, which reminds me of how to explain it. I was told early on in this journey that I am a transducer. So in other words, the codes and the geometries were shown to me as these huge megalithic structures in the cosmos, and they can't just come down. So I transduce them. So I bring them in to my body, and then I transduce them and send them out onto the earth. Very much like what the Aborigine people used to do. They would go on walkabouts, and it wasn't just because they had nothing better to do. They went on walkabouts so that they could sing the song lines, and so that they could put the codes into the earth, which
Amazing.
Was such an eye-opener for me. And I felt that really in my spirit, because I have memories and deep connection to the Aboriginal people of Australia. When I hear a didgeridoo playing, I get transported to another world. So yes, Uluru, very important. And I'd like to see that as many people as possible are aware of that and can really and truly just spread the word of be in your heart space. Do everything from your heart, do it from love, because that is the way that we will raise the vibration of the earth, and also, I believe, be able to shift the dense energies that are trying to hold us back from being who we truly be, which is amazing light beings, sovereign beings.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for reminding us all that we are that already, because so much in our own evolutionary past we feel that we're not good enough, we're not powerful enough, we're not trained enough, we're not whatever enough. And well, we are and
Indeed.
we are right now, and the right now changes timelines, right? Us being completely present in the now gives us the power to see the future in that possibility of balance and harmony. And any other time, if we are in, I want to say, in fear, or in not feeling powerful enough, or not feeling grounded enough, then we cannot see the full picture. So thank you for reminding us. And also I love that you mentioned that so many of us are moved, like you felt, you know, like in the ancient times when the Aboriginals people would go and walk the song lines and sing into the song lines. And in Ireland there is a lot about that in their folklore, and legends and mythology about singing the ancestors. And so many of us are moved around, right? So many of us are either traveling to sacred spots or power places, and a lot of us are just asked to go and be there for a time, which you mentioned about, you know, being transmitters and also allowing the work to come through us, which is, you know, thank you so much for being one that is open and aware and in love with humanity. Thank you for being in love with humanity.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And
Thanks,
seeing,
Jill.
yeah,
Yeah,
and seeing the
it's
greatness.
and I think it's really important for us to take an eagle position, you know, to look at everything from that higher perspective, because then it does look very different to when we're in the trenches. But I think it's also natural for us to sometimes feel the overwhelm of what is going on, especially when it affects the people that we love. So we are still human, and we still have those, you know, those human aspects. But there was something that I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, perhaps I should, I'm going to run through the rest of my images so that the people who are watching can see the other codes.
Yes, please do.
Right, here we go. Slideshow. I'm not a master of this yet, so this was my ignition key. And then my work progressed into sacred geometry. And as you can see, it's very, very different to my first works. There was a period where I was shown the diamond heart, and that came in very, very strongly. I think that was at the beginning of 2018 or midway through 2018. I started receiving a lot of codes about the diamond heart, and it's really been a progression for me as well. It's been a learning process, and I'll never forget when I decided to create an Instagram account. That I didn't really know much about social media stuff, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to make a website, and I'm in an Instagram account, and I'll share my codes there. What do I call it? And I heard immediately the Cosmic Scribe, and I was like, wow, that's a little bit, don't you think it's a bit pompous? And it's like, no, you are the Cosmic Scribe. So I really had to accept that and step into the role and realize my divinity and my gift, and not play it down. And I think, you know, for all of us, we need to play big. We need to play big because we can, because we must. So I also do soul expression codes. So these are personalized codes where I bring in a representation of who you be as a person. It could be a current life, a past life, a future life, but it helps people to focus on that and just bring those codes and the gifts of the codes into their own lives. This is a nice example of the earth healing. I felt to do a code for Rapa Nui, which is Easter Island, one of the points in one of the trines in the Royal Lyran project. And you know, what I love is when I'm rendering a code, I don't really see it until I'm finished. And then when I'm finished, I look at it and I'm like, wow, I don't know where that came from. I have no idea where it came from. And this one is particularly precious to me because there's a lot of very relevant crystals that have great meaning for what the code actually brought in. And then the transmutational codes I spoke of, those address specific issues or challenges that people might have. And then I also do awakening seeds, which are, you know, they make great gifts. They're awesome for people to just feel into it and to start working with something that is more simple. It's usually just a single glyph or a phrase maybe, but it helps you to get into that. And then I have the projects, as I mentioned, the Clarion Hall. So this is the one here at the bottom. It's a double-digit power portal day codes to help with the shift of 21 December. And I also have a series that is for the Lemurian reconnection and the Atlantis healing. So if anybody feels drawn to that. And these are ways that you can connect with me. I would love to hear from people. I know that there are a lot of people out there that are asking for support with what is coming through to them as light language in many forms. So for instance, they would start hearing a language and not know what it is, or they would be talking and not know what it is. So I think that there is really an expansion for a lot of people of this gift. It's there for all of us, and we can all bring it for the greater good of all mankind. So I would love to hear from people if they would like to connect with me. We can chat, and yeah, this is how we help each other grow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, I know that now that's on the video and people can pause it to, jot down your information, how to connect with you. So thank you for being so organized and having it all there. How wonderful. So I guess all I would like to say is, oh my God, oh my goddess, oh my goodness, how amazing that we can totally bring heaven to earth in whichever way that we are asked and invited to do. And it's so beautiful to watch what you are bringing through and to perceive, because it's not only visual, but it's really, it is a resonance, and you feel it, even if it's just 1 second of a glyph that you are showing. So I'll encourage anybody watching this video to connect with the amazing Leone and to be open to bringing your own glyphs that works, and work with her through her own gifts to help you and assist you. I mean, this is what we were saying, right? We are still human and we still need support, and we have everything within us, but we need that reminder from each other.
Absolutely.
That we got this.
Yeah. And I think what's also important, that something that I've learned in the last while, is that the higher dimensional beings and the intergalactic beings are also there to support us and want to work with us. And they still need the human interface here in the 3D, and as we move into 5D, they still need for us to be there. So in stepping forward and saying, here I am, I'm always amazed at how each one of us can be used as an instrument, as a hollow bone. I refer to myself as a hollow bone because of the the shamanic work that I do. So we all have that gift. We're all able to bring those gifts, and it just requires for us to step up and say, okay, here I am. There was sorry, I'm gonna now try and remember something. I read something a couple of days ago, or heard it in a movie. I think it's in the Bible, in Isaiah, saying, who can I send? And all you need to do is say, I'm here, you can send me.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
But I want to thank you as well, Anouk. The way that we've connected and the way that I've connected in the Imaginarium and in the 108-day project, just the way things happen and how people are brought together in a moment in time. And I know that it'll be like that for people who are watching the video now. They will watch it at the perfect time, and it'll trigger, ignite, I like to use the word ignite, turn on a key for them to be able to expand. And if that is something that will come from this, I'll be very happy and very blessed. So thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. And just to mention, as we are recording this, we're in the middle of the 108 Days project, as you were just talking about it. And I think we're on day 45 today of the 108.
Wow.
And so we're focusing all the way to the winter solstice on the Northern Hemisphere. So it's December 21st, 2020. And we are holding a 1 minute of stillness, 1 minute of no thought for the potential of all possibilities to arise and land in our consciousness. We will be working with you and with the energies that are working with Zuluru at this time. So we'll continue to talk, because it will be a very powerful day. We're in such an amazing turning point for humanity, and just so grateful for anybody that will watch this video and that is aware and awake and willing and in agreement to bring balance to this beautiful planet. So thank you, my dear. Such a joy to be with you and to hear you.
I'm so glad we got
So
to
much
do
love.
this.
Yay.
Lots of love to you in Athens. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.